All right. Hello and welcome. Today we're going to explore a path, but it's not one you'll find on any map. This is a journey that doesn't lead somewhere out there, but instead it leads right back here to a deeper understanding within ourselves. It's really just an invitation to see things a little differently, to listen just a bit more closely to a wisdom we probably already have.
And this quote from Rumi, wow, this is basically the compass for our whole conversation today. Think about it. It's suggesting that everything we're looking for, clarity, peace, that sense of truth, it's not something you find by looking outside. It's all about making that turn inward. So let's really dive into what that means.
Okay, so what even is a mystic? I think a lot of us, when we hear that word, we picture someone really ancient, maybe unrelatable, or something you could never be. But the idea is actually so much simpler. A mystic is really just anyone who decides to listen to that quiet inner voice, right? That little whisper from your soul instead of all the noise from the outside world. It's not some title you have to go out and earn, it's just a way of orienting yourself.
So let's be real. For most of us, this search for meaning, it doesn't start by looking inside, does it? Nope. It usually starts with that very familiar feeling of looking for answers and direction from, well, everywhere but ourselves.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? You go out and get all the right books, you sign up for the classes, you find that teacher you really admire, you start following these really clearly marked trails, just hoping they're going to lead you where you need to go. And hey, for a while, they often do. This is a totally natural and honestly a pretty necessary starting point for a lot of us. But then, eventually, for a lot of people, there's this quiet little turning point. You start to notice that all those external signposts, they just don't feel as helpful anymore. And you get this deep sense that the next leg of the journey, well, that's when you have to walk alone, from the inside out. And wow, this shift from looking outside to listening inside, it changes everything. Your whole search moves from just following rules to actually trusting those little gut feelings, those nudges. Instead of trying to find the perfect teacher, you start hearing these quiet whispers within yourself. You go from devouring books to just finding stillness. It's kind of like stepping off a really well-worn path and wandering into what the source material calls the forest of the soul, a place where your own intuition is the only compass you've got. Okay, so once you start making that inward turn, your whole perspective on some of life's biggest ideas starts to shift. Take the very concept of what's sacred or divine. It begins to expand in a really big way.
And this is a really powerful shift in thinking. Instead of seeing the divine as this static thing, like a noun you can define or a place you have to get to, the mystic sees it as a verb. It's a dynamic, flowing presence. It's not something you find, it's something you feel in motion, It's flowing, it's breathing, it's pulsing all around you and through you.
Yeah, and this quote from Martin Buber just nails it. The point isn't to arrive at some final destination called God or enlightenment. The real question is just, which way are you facing? Are you turning yourself toward things like presence and love and mystery? That simple turn, that is the whole practice, right there. So where do you find this sacred presence? Well, it's not just in temples or on some fancy retreat. The source material points to these incredibly beautiful ordinary moments. For instance, in some traditions, the sacred name Yahweh is said to sound just like breathing in and out. I mean, just think about that for a second. Every single breath you take could be a prayer. The sacred is right there. It's in your dog's eyes. It's in the stillness of a forest. It's in a child's deep belly laugh. It's even in that quiet presence you feel when someone is with you during a really hard time. All right, so this inward journey means we have to learn to navigate a totally new place, our own inner world. And let's be honest, this inner landscape, it's not always simple or easy to read. It means really getting to know the different parts of ourselves and learning to embrace how complex life can be. You see, inside each of us, there are kind of these two different voices. First, you've got the ego, and the ego isn't bad. It's just tender and super reactive. It's that part of you that gets its feelings hurt easily and really wants to be seen and appreciated. But then there's the higher self. This is our truest part. It's that steady, quiet observer that just loves without needing anything back and, get this, it can't be bruised by the world. And really, this whole mystic path is about learning to tune in and listen a little more closely to that second voice. And here's another huge reframe, this time for our struggles. This idea that our wounds, our bad habits, all our so-called imperfections, they aren't actually problems that need to be fixed. What if instead they're openings? What if they're invitations to just look a little deeper, to understand ourselves with way more compassion, and to let a little bit of light in?
So let me ask you this, and just take a second to think about it. What might your outer life be mirroring about your inner life? Like when your desk is a total mess, are your thoughts also kind of cluttered? When your schedule is packed to the brim, what might you be trying to run from on the inside? The idea here is that our outer world is often a direct mirror of our inner landscape, and it's giving us clues about what really needs our attention. And all of this leads to maybe one of the biggest shifts of all, getting away from that black and white either-or kind of thinking. This path isn't about sorting life into these neat little piles of good and bad. It's about learning to hold paradoxes. It's about embracing the fact that, yeah, you can feel joy and sorrow, often at the exact same time. You can hold both certainty and total mystery in the same breath. The deepest truths are almost always found in that messy, beautiful both-and space. Okay, so this all sounds really great in theory, right? But the big question is, how do we actually live this way? So let's bring all these big ideas down to earth and look at some really practical frameworks and invitations to practice. So the Source gives us this amazing life story framework to help us see where we are on our own journey. We all start with a given story, the circumstances we're born into. Along the way, we pick up these whispered lies, those quiet negative beliefs like, I'm not good enough. And for a while, we just live the life we accept, playing out that script without really questioning it. But then, hopefully, we hit a turning point, a moment where we realize, hey, another way is possible. And that's when we can start writing our chosen story, one that feels true to us. And finally, we start thinking about our legacy story, what love and wisdom we want to leave behind. As you look at this, where do you see yourself right now? And if you want something even more immediate, here are a few simple but really powerful practices you could try. How about a wander day? A whole day with absolutely no plan, just letting your soul lead the way. Or try to empty the cup before you start your day, which just means assuming you don't already have all the answers. Or my favorite, leap before you're ready, just trusting that life will catch you. These are such small shifts, but believe me, they can have a massive impact. And it's so important to remember this. Walking this path is not about adding more things to your to-do list. It's not about spiritual striving or piling on more self-improvement tasks. It's actually the complete opposite. It's a really gentle process of unbecoming, of letting things go, of simply returning to that quiet, timeless wisdom that's been inside of you the whole time. So let's end with this one final thought, this one question for you to take with you. It's not about what you should do, it's about what you could do. Just imagine if you let go of one old story, one of those whispered lies. If you really, truly started to listen to that inner voice, what new, more authentic story could start to unfold for you? That, right there, is the entire invitation of the Mystic's Path.